Let me make this shit real simple. I own you, nigga.
All right, before I get started, y'all know the deal. Y'all already know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe. Y'all know the deal. It's Monday. Y'all know the deal. So, um, this is basically gonna be like something like really interesting for the future because I know this isn't gonna happen now or in season 3 or potentially season 4. But who is actually gonna take out Raquel Thomas? Like, I love doing these because it's like now the possibilities are super endless because after what we got from episode 10, where basically, you know, Raquel basically told Lulu like, yo, I own your ass, there's nothing you can do about it, and just basically broken the man. Technically she broken him twice because he didn't understand the lessons back in season 1 where he was just like, man, I'm trying to get out of here, and she like, listen, your shit is my shit, you can't go anywhere, right? So we have a list of people that can actually potentially take out Raquel, or I shouldn't say potentially, but have motivation. I'm sorry, motive. They have motive to basically take out Raquel. So we got Lulu, we got Howard, Kanan, maybe Jukebox. I have four. And then we would just, and I guess Breeze would be like 5, right? But we ain't gonna count him. We ain't gonna count him because we haven't seen him, so we ain't gonna count him. So we're gonna start off with like Lulu, because even though, like I said in my previous video, I don't really see Lulu actually taking out Raquel, but seeing how Lulu can't go anywhere. Lulu is like literally trapped, right? Like he can't do nothing. Despite him wanting to like get away from all of this, he can't go anywhere. Now the fact that Ziza's dead, and then you have the cops that's eventually going to look into the whole bulletproof records, because now the fire is set because Crown's dead, Ziza's dead, Cartier Farid is dead. So the cops is going to like see like, okay, what's going on here? And I think that this is going to be the perfect opportunity, and I think this is where we're going to see maybe potentially Lulu is actually going to flip, and maybe the only way to get rid of Raquel is maybe to pin it all on Raquel, because if he's not going to kill her, then I think the best option, the best reasonable option for him to do is to pin everything on Raquel. Like, oh, she wanted to get rid of, but then again, it would have to make sense for him to do that, to be like, okay, since Crown died, a portion of the share went to her, instead of it being like, you know, Lulu. Like, yeah, Lulu's in charge, but Raquel is also in charge of Bulletproof Records. So I think it only makes sense for Lulu to figure a potential way of getting rid of Raquel. If not by death, then it might be by jail, because as the story goes, you either die or you go to jail, right? I think that might be a potential way, because if he won't get rid of her, but that's a possibility, right? Then you look at like Detective Howard. Now, Detective Howard is a very interesting one, because from what we've seen, like towards the end, he's trying to like get the whole story out, because you know, Shannon is she's getting too nosy, she's getting too close, and eventually everything's gonna kind of like crash and burn. But I think Detective Howard has like a really interesting case, because Raquel tried to have her own son, which was his son, to kill him in season 1. And you would think that because you know, Howard, he was pissed, but because he didn't know. Well, he knew, but it was more like he was, you could say that he was pissed, but it was more, that anger was towards like Raquel, because Raquel never told Kanan. Never told him. Never told him. So you would think that she always known that Detective Howard was Kanan's real father. She always known, because it wouldn't have made any sense for her not to know, because DEFCON was gay. DEFCON was gay. He wasn't into women like that. So it would have only made sense for her to know that, okay, Raquel was 16 at the time, and I guess Detective Howard was like in his 20s when they got involved with each other, and she ended up being pregnant by him. So she's known for decades. Like, it was like a decade long truth that she's known about. And if she would have came clean, or maybe told Howard maybe a little bit sooner, after when she was of age, then maybe it would have been different. it probably would have been a slightly different if she would have told the truth about it, but she didn't. She didn't say anything. So this could have actually been like something for Howard because he could have had the family, he could have had everything, and maybe his life would have been different. But she didn't tell anybody this, and I think if push comes to shove, if let's just say like okay, yeah, everybody get their story correct, everybody's on point with each other, she could see this as a wedge with what is happening with Howard and Kanan, that Howard is trying to pull Kanan away from her, but she doesn't realize the damage that she's caused, and basically everything is gonna like fall into play. But I don't think Howard would do anything. I don't think Howard would do anything. So instead of me putting him on the list, I think I would take him out. I mean, yeah. Well, actually, no. I could keep him on because anything could change. Anything could happen, right? Because what if it would probably come down to Howard and Rock. I think obviously maybe Kanan would choose Raquel over Howard. I think if that was to ever come up, I think he still would choose her because that's his mom and this and that and stuff. But he hasn't gone over to that Tariq levels of, oh, I'm gonna kill my parent, right? I don't think he's not there yet. He's like taking baby steps, but he's not quite there yet. Because keep in mind, all of this that happened, this whole destruction, is basically Rock's fault. All of it is. Actually, I don't think I added Jukebox to the list. I think instead of me saying Breeze, Jukebox would be added to the list. Because now we're going to go over to Jukebox. I think Jukebox's case for her to potentially maybe have some sort of like maybe heat with like Raquel or something like between them to get like change or whatever, because you got to keep in mind, like I said, Raquel was responsible for everything. So Kenya dying could also piss off Jukebox as well, because remember when Marvin was gonna step to like Kenya, he was just like, yo, what you did to Jukebox was wrong and this and that. And then that's when Jukebox was like, she called him out, she's like, Dad, like no, don't do it, because Marvin was about to go in her ass like, hold on, you gonna do this shit to our daughter, how dare you? But she had to stop him. So even though Jukebox was pissed off and she was like, you was never a mother to me, at the end of the day, you can't take away, I guess, the time that they had with each other. It was still something. And then Kenya was coming over to talk to Raquel about it. Now some of y'all in the comments was funny with that. She was like, no, she coming over to snitch and shit. I mean, but also keep in mind this too. She would have also explained that, oh, yeah, somebody got her out of jail. Somebody got her out of a jam because she was held up, but don't know who like released her, like who got her out. So that could have also been a conversation, because nobody knows. Keep in mind this, nobody knows that Jukebox is actually involved with Shannon. Nobody knows about this. It's like, that's the thing, that's like the beauty of like raising Kanan, the beauty of it. Basically, when all this war shit was happening, both Jukebox and Kanan was not aware of this. Both of them was not aware. It was like they was doing like own lives, and I kind of like it a bit, because it makes a little bit sense that they're still kids, and that's what we kind of sometimes forget about, because we see like a whole bunch of like grown up shit, but we always sometimes forget that they're still kids. They still was going to school. Even though we haven't seen, like I said, that school stuff since season 1, but they were still going to school essentially. So I was like, okay, that was like the part that we was kind of forgetting about. So I'm like, it does make sense, it does make sense that they had their own stories. But seeing how Kenya dying, Marvin taking a bullet, everything is all gonna lead up to like this was Raquel's fault. Now, as I said that Raquel is the devil, the new name, and I want y'all to spread this everywhere, and y'all heard it from me first. Raquel is basically the devil of Southside. The devil of Southside is basically Raquel Thomas. She is the devil of Southside because she's been making connections, she's been making deals, but essentially everything that's blowing up in everyone's faces is all Raquel's fault. Because if anything was to happen to Marvin in the future, which potentially it will be, it's going to be under Raquel's watch. Because all of this shit that's happening is her fault. So I think that if anybody would have had like some sort of like heat or motive, Jukebox has also potentially would have motive. If anything was to happen to Marvin, something already happened to Kenya, she has motive, right? And also keep in mind of this too, that it's gonna be unexpected. It's gonna be really unexpected because I think from what the showrunners and what they're doing, I believe that I don't think it's gonna be like a Kanan. It could be like a Kanan and a Raquel, but I think this time we're gonna be caught off guard. I think it's gonna be unexpected this time of something that's gonna happen to like Raquel, rather than it just being really predictable. Because most of us are saying, "Oh, it's gonna be Kanan," right? But I'm kind of leaning over to Jukebox. I'm really leaning over that it might be Jukebox because Jukebox and Raquel didn't have heat at all from season 1 and season 2. They haven't like really crossed paths like that, and there's a potential thing that could happen in the future where they could cross paths because, like I said, nobody knows that Burke and Jukebox is like talking. They don't know about this. They don't know. So something could like really blow up because what if like it comes off later like, oh, basically all of this could have been avoided if Jukebox would have said something. But at the end of the day, Jukebox is trying to figure herself out and also figure a way out of Southside. She's trying to figure these things out, but eventually, potentially, it probably will be Shannon that's going to be the one to help her. So I think personally, like, I think Jukebox may have motive in the future. I think I see her having motive, right? And then lastly, Kanan. Obviously, lastly would be Kanan because Kanan's motive is, one, she lied to him throughout his entire life. She had him almost kill his own father, completely fucked up, and then she constantly kept on lying to him and putting seeds inside this man's head. Basically, she did the same thing that she did to Lulu, where she knows Lulu killed Crown. She knows he killed Crown. There's no secret behind that, but she did all of that so that way she can have bulletproof records. That was the whole deal. Kill Crown so I can have bulletproof records. And then also, we're going to get rid of Cartier Farid because despite Cartier Farid having a piece of it, he's gone, so he has nothing. So this was all a whole manipulation of what she did to basically have everything be put back in her place. So Kanan's motivation to kill Raquel, it would be a build up, but it would make more sense and it would be justified for him to do it because, again, all of the things that happened, and he still does not know that she had Lulu killed D, which in the argument when Lulu was explaining like a lot of shit that he didn't want to do, he had no choice but to do. And I'm kind of glad that he still brought up the fact that you made me kill that kid and I didn't want to. So I'm like, yeah, but Kanan doesn't know about that, but Jukebox does. So that's a lot of motive right there. Oh my God, there's a lot of motive right there for Kanan to like learn about that. And that would, I wouldn't say it would be like the final piece, but it could be an extra layer to making Kanan turn the way that he turns because it's so much that she's putting into him and so much lies and deceit that's happening. It's gonna cause Kanan to snap. It's gonna cause Kanan to snap, and eventually he's gonna do the things that he said he was gonna do. And he potentially could kill Raquel. I think I can also add maybe Unique to the list. I could probably add Unique to the list, right? Because okay, yeah, like, you know, episode 10, he saves her, and as I said in my previous video, they probably might have some sort of like partnership, there may be a slight romance, but keep in mind, Unique could be the biggest, he could be a snake. I think he is like the great snake. I think Unique could be like the snake because, yeah, he manipulated Raquel before, he manipulated her. And he could still be manipulating because he hasn't forgot what happened. He hasn't forgot that Marvin tried to have him and his family killed. He haven't forgot about that shit. And he still potentially could want Southside for himself. But I thinking he's playing ball for now. If he does have some sort of, if that romantic shit does happen, it's only gonna probably be like for like a little while. Because if you look at Raquel's, I guess, relationships, Symphony was like the guy that she claims that was like a whole vacational trip and that was it, but deep down she really wanted Symphony because Symphony was that guy, that piece that could have taken her out of the game, but she chose not to. And then you look at Unique, where he's loyal to the game, to the streets, and he never betrayed anybody. He stayed loyal and faithful, and that's the type of guy and that type of loyalty that Raquel likes and could be looking for. But again, Unique he's slippery, so he can have motive in the end to take out Raquel because of all of the shit that she did. And then on top of that, her bad decision also got Warrell killed. So again, she's a damn storm of destruction that caused a whole lot of misery to happen. So I'm like, a lot of people have like different motive and reasons to kill Raquel, except for maybe Marvin. Marvin doesn't have motive. He does. I think he's the only one I could think of that doesn't have motive, because he always tried to get back in good graces with Raquel. It was never him trying to like go against her. It was him trying to get back in her good graces. So I think out of everybody, he's the only one that doesn't have any ill will towards her. Everybody else will, or if not, will have like ill will towards her, but he's the only one that don't. So I think out of everybody, we don't know. We just gonna have to wait and see in the upcoming like episodes and seasons to see what's gonna really happen to Kanan. Like, will it be Lulu that either will have her killed or have her get sent to prison? Will it be Howard off of a last decision making that could happen, and Kanan's gonna have to choose between either a life with Howard or a life with Raquel? Or 3, it could be Jukebox, because of stuff that happened with Kenya, even though I think she wouldn't really care as much, but again, that's her mom, right? Other shit that could be brewing up, I think it could be Jukebox, right? Then it could potentially be like Unique, but it has to be like something that's really fucked up, like something that's really fucked up. But again, everybody has like their own motives of potentially taking out Raquel. And then lastly, even if none of this happens, and let's just say Raquel gets away, again, she's the devil of Southside, and they always said that the devil's greatest trick was making people forget that he exists. And when you see in Power, yeah, Kanan talks about he went to go see his mom, but that whole shit that happened in Southside, Jamaica, Queens, no one ever talks about her. They don't even bring up her name. They don't talk about DEFCON, and they don't talk about Raquel Thomas. So that means that the devil's greatest trick was making people forget about she ever existed. And the only people that was ever talked about was Kanan, and then some whispers, and maybe some whispers about Ghost, and then obviously Tommy. But after that, that's it. That's really it. But post your comments down below. Who do you potentially think will be the one to actually take out Raquel? Like, who do you think is going to be the one that's going to finally do it and take her out? And yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch you all in the next one.